Good day, I'm Stacey Ann Smith, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, March 4. The government of Jamaica GoJ Health Card is now officially in use. Health Minister Dr. Fenton Ferguson says full rollout of the card, which started on Monday, will take place over the next 18 months. In the meantime, he says the response has been tremendous, with thousands of persons signing up for the card just 1 month after registration began on February 3. Dr. Ferguson is appealing to non-governmental organizations to partner with the government to get more persons registered. The GoJ Health Card gives patrons of public health facilities ease of access to medications on the vital, essential and necessary VEN drug list at no cost. It will also improve the mechanism to bill private health insurance providers, as it will state whether the patient has health insurance. It is now mandatory for 3 main categories of persons to electronically file their tax returns. This applies to large taxpayers, companies with an annual turnover of $500,000 or more, persons filing a GCT refund return, and employers with 20 or more workers. The mandatory e-filing, which came into effect on March 1, follows an amendment to the Revenue Administration Act, giving the TAJ's Commissioner General the authority to state how and when tax returns are to be filed. Meanwhile, unregulated companies and self-employed individuals are being reminded that they qualify for an employment tax credit ETC once they file and pay their taxes by March 15. The ETC, which is part of government's fiscal incentive regime, should encourage greater tax compliance and boost employment. And with the end of the 2013-2014 financial year just 3 weeks away, Tax Administration Jamaica is embarking on several initiatives to help meet its revenue target. In a release, TAJ says since the start of the financial year, close to 2,900 summonses have been served to collect $4.96 billion. This is a 43% increase over the 2012-2013 fiscal year. TAJ will be increasing the number of summonses served on delinquent taxpayers while ensuring that judgment orders of the court are carried through. The payroll records of businesses are also being examined to ensure that delinquent employers pay over the required taxes on time. Tax Administration will also be pushing its taxpayer education program to ensure that self-employed persons and small businesses are aware of their tax obligations. As at the end of January, TAJ had met 96.16% of its revenue target of $236 billion. Residents of the MEADOWS of IRWIN in St. James now have a new police post to support community policing initiatives. The police post was built by West Indies home contractors Wicon at a cost of $12 million. It boasts a reception area, conference room, a main office, solar lighting and water heating, kitchen, bathroom and recreation rooms. National Security Minister Peter Bunting says the post fits in well with plans to establish a police presence in communities with over 100 houses.
We don't want to be doing a whole heap of arrests from the personnel based here. We would prefer it to be a deterrent.
The MEADOWS of IRWIN is a private housing scheme being developed by Wicon with approximately 800 housing solutions. The National Security Minister, meanwhile, is urging persons who have not yet started to play an active role in crime prevention to join in the Unite for Change campaign. The initiative encourages citizens to work with the police, provide mentorship and support to young people, or do anything they can to prevent crime.
The whole idea of the Unite for Change initiative is to move persons from violence prevention being something that they're concerned about to violence prevention being something that they get into action around.
Minister Bunting was speaking at the 2013-2014 LASCO Jamaica Constabulary Force Police Officer of the Year Awards, where he commended the law enforcers for their contribution to Jamaica. Woman Corporal Hodel Harris of the Area 2 Police Division walked away with the top prize. And finally, Youth and Culture Minister Lisa Hanna has high praises for the Duke of Edinburgh Award scheme, from which Jamaica continues to benefit. Minister Hanna says the country is proud to be one of the earliest Commonwealth countries to embrace the scheme.
We're also grateful beneficiaries of the concept of the scheme, focused as it has been on discipline, skills development and teamwork, all of which contribute to the building of the character-based leadership of the pool of our young persons we are constantly seeking to enlarge.
Minister Hanna was addressing participants in the Duke of Edinburgh Golf Tournament at the Caymanas Golf and Country Club on the weekend. His Royal Highness Prince Edward, the Earl of Wessex, expressed his appreciation for the level of involvement and support for the scheme and said more would be done to inspire at-risk youth.
We'll do our best, I know, and the locals will do their best to make sure that these funds are used in the very best possible way to reach as many young people and give them an opportunity to get involved in this award programme.
The golf tournament was just one stop on a 4-day working visit by the Earl and Countess of Wessex. On Monday, Prince Edward engaged students of the Hart College of Construction Services, formerly the Portmore Hart Academy. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Stacey Ann Smith. Thank you for watching.